Earlier, we introduced the founder and the objective of the legendary organization, the Legal Advisory Panel on Compensation Claim for COVID-19. What had this organization accomplished since its establishment months ago? The proposition from the initiator, Zhang Qingyang, had hardly any progress up to this day, and it was severely inconsistent, which got thoroughly criticized by various media. Based on his tweets, the advisory panel had not completed a single task, besides online chatting in the U.S. months after its establishment, and it did not even try to make donations. Such public welfare activities did correspond to the Twitter governing style in the U.S. Up to this date, Yang had published numerous articles on Twitter and other social media platforms to incite other users with sensitive contents. He also made more than 100 public comments to sensationalize COVID-19. Yang first queried the Chinese government's work on epidemic prevention, which aimed to direct the spearhead of public opinions on the internet towards the Chinese government. Then criticized the Chinese government's act against the freedom of speech, to shift all the blame during the COVID-19 pandemic on the Chinese government. In the end, hoping to make more people participate in the claim for compensation and broaden the range of support, Yang even formulated the pleading into a template for easier public use. But all of these never came to fruition. On June 29, 2020, Yang released a statement saying that the grievous people from Wuhan mourned for the family members who died from COVID-19, and no officials were held accountable or punished so far. However, the Chinese government held more than 600 officials to account in as early as February. Yang's behavior resembled one that would come from an internet newbie, and he was consistently releasing those outdated, boring statements. Why would Yang be anti-China as a native Chinese? This would have to be tied back to the controversial Changsha Funeng Culture Communication Limited Company mentioned in the last episode. Yang had already been involved in anti-government activities while running Changsha Funeng under the cover of public welfare. His funding came from overseas organizations such as the U.S. National Endowment for Democracy, Open Society Foundations, and so on. When these deeds were exposed, Yang immigrated to the U.S. With all those troubles, Yang's immigration objective was to hide and lie low. However, he lived a great life in the U.S. and even became a law school visiting scholar in Fordham University. Yang was neither a graduate from prestigious schools nor a renowned lawyer, and he had criminal records. What is the reason for Fordham University to hire him? It was more baffling that in the morning of October 28, 2019, Zhang Qingyang, a native Chinese, visited the White House National Security Council, the State Council, and the U.S. Congressional Administration Commission on China in Washington. Among those officials met by Yang, there was Susan O'Sullivan, Director of Democracy, Human Rights, and Labor in U.S. Department of State and Pacific Affairs Division, who would most likely not be met in person by a native U.S. citizen in lifetime. What is the ultimate reason behind all those visits?